Hello and welcome to this masterclass. My name is Mehmet. I'm the founder and CEO of Yasi Ventures. I'm the CTO Show podcast host. Thank you very much for being here today for this masterclass. Just if you can write me in the comment if you can see the full screen and you can see me in the corner, I would really appreciate that. If you are facing any problem, also you can put that in the comments. I would appreciate it. So to start, this masterclass, and the reason why I thought we need to have this masterclass is because there is a hype about AI, of course, ChatGPT, and all these things. And something is coming also too much in the discussions about automation agents. And then the questions that start to appear: what is going to happen next? Which jobs will stay? Which jobs will go? So I thought that I would go and discuss in details, you know, the future of what is ahead of us. So this is was the main reason that I thought it's good to have this session. So remember, the future is not a destination but a journey we can all take part in. So it's not something to get scared of. It's not something to be, very paranoid about it. It's something that really exciting. And, I will be discussing a few things with you now in this session, which I hope it will be eye opener for you. Now, before going in, I thought that let's have a brief history of AI and automation. Of course, I know that this information is everywhere, but just to see how things went. Guess what? AI dates back to ancient Greece. Yes, it's not a mistake in the slides. Actually, Aristotle, who was the first one to think about a machine that can think and have reasoning. But of course, like in the modern age, the first attempt started in the 1950s, and it advanced with the time. Automation has also evolved from industrial revolution to today's smart factories. So we are not talking about something which is completely new here. It's something that has been with us for quite some times, but now we are witnessing a moment where everything is going into a much faster way. Now, the early days, if you think how AI started it, so the early date we can remember is the very famous, uh, the symposiums that were happening in the 50s with pioneers like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and Claude Shannon. They were the first one to lead the way, and they were the first one to come with the history, with the concept of a machine that can simulate human brains. And then, things evolve with time. Of course, also, and I'm talking here not about AI, I'm talking about automation as well. So automation is the way we can, of course, as the name says, we can do something works independently without any intervention. And the history of AI and automation dates back to 1940s with a lot of tools that they were developed at that time. So you can think about the simple calculators to advanced machine learning algorithms. And AI technology has come a long way. And this is the evolution that happened with time. The first attempt, actually, which was the famous one, the Turing test. So the Turing test was the first real, I would say, use case that everyone was trying again to make the machine look smart. And it's a measure to see if the machine has the ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to the one that we humans we do. So this is where it all started. And then, we started to talk about neural networks because scientists, engineers, they start to say, okay, if we want to simulate human brains, and human brains are formed from neurons, so we need to have something that we can simulate in the computer world. And this is where we started to talk about neural networks, machine learning, feed the machine with data, and let the machine later on analyze this data and get us, the results that we opt for. Of course, today we are in a very different place, AI has evolved and it became, the go-to, as we can say, especially with the last 6 months, we saw a lot of advances with OpenAI, ChatGPT, and other tools also as well. Now, um, let's talk about separating hype from reality. And the reason I, wanted to separate this, I want to ask a question, and you can reflect on it, and you will find the answer yourselves. Now, some people now are saying what we are seeing with ChatGPT and other tools in the market is just a hype. It's gonna disappear after a while. Now, when was the last moment we saw something similar? Think about it. Like, if I want to focus only on technology, we can go back to the 1970s where everyone started to talk about personal computers. And the idea was very weird at that time. How come we're gonna bring these huge machines that we see them now in museums and we see them in some documentaries? How we will bring these massive machines to homes? But the moment came, and then we started really to see personal computers, and it was the first revolution in making computing something that everyone can access. Let's remember the second one. The second moment was the internet. The internet is something, and you can see it on Google and other search engines. Some people, they said, yeah, it's a hype, but actually it was not a hype, because for the first time ever, someone sitting in the North Pole can communicate with someone on the South Pole in just speed of light. And then use cases, we started to find out that a lot of our day-to-day problems can be solved using the internet. Then another moment similar is when we had the smartphones. And again, at the beginning, people started to doubt. They said, yeah, it's just a phone. What we can do with it, why we need to have something bulky combined with applications and so on. But then later on, we started to figure out, by adding something like GPS, adding some functionalities like accelerators and all these sensors. Oh, guess what? Really, the phone, by making it smart, in a meaning that it has these capabilities, we can really solve real business problems. We can solve even day-to-day individuals problems. Now let's come to AI and the hype of AI now. Is it a hype, or is it a historical moment? In my opinion, it's not a hype. Of course, it's an augmented moment, because today we have the tools that make the technology in everyone's hand in matter of seconds. Remember that sometimes, to reach a certain number of users for any application, it goes for months, years. ChatGPT, it broke all the records actually, and it was the fastest adopted application ever. So this is why I think it's not a hype. Now, going back to the use cases, we will see in the upcoming slides what I'm talking about. It's not a hype. It's sorting for us real business problems, and it's sorting for us also individual day-to-day problems. Now, um, everyone talks about generative AI. So there is a rise of generative AI, especially with tools like OpenAI. ChatGPT is the famous one, but don't forget we have other tools like Diffusion, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, which are disrupting industries. Let's have a look. But before going there, and I don't want to go too much deep technical, we need to understand, because you are hearing this a lot. And yesterday there was an announcement by Google also as well. Everyone talking about LLM models, large language models. So now you have GPT, DALI 2, Diffusion, and Midjourney. And of course, we have now BART and a lot of others also coming on the way. So the chat gpt, the language generation and transfer learning, what it does, it can generate human-like text, complete sentences, paragraph, essays, and even books. They can also fine-tune for specific tasks. So the idea is, think about it like you have a huge library that you can access it in like fracture of seconds, right? And then you can, at any point in time, go to the book you want in fracture of seconds, extract the text from there, from the book, and then present it to someone. So the more data you have, the more text you can generate, of course. So you have this pool of data over there. Now, this is one part of what ChatGPT works on. But don't forget, and I'm coming back to the neural network and reasoning, it's not just a semantic search where you just search for something, which is usually search engines are good at because they index the content. And then once you search it, it can tell you, okay, this content sits here, so you can go and extract it by yourself. What these models are able to do is actually they can also have some kinds of analysis. They can add, remove, edit based on the prompt that you give. So this is why here the large language models are important. And it's not only text based. So remember, like OpenAI, they have the DALI 2, there is Midjourney, there is Stable Diffusion. And these ones, actually, they take the prompt as a text and then they convert it to you in the form of an image. Even more, we have seen that now also yesterday, Google, they have made it generally available, the one that convert text to music. And then there are some of the models that they can generate videos. So now we are taking text as a prompt, and even we can have text generated, image generated, video generated. So we have covered it all, and actually it's going to be more than this in the future. So what are the applications of large language models? And here I'm not talking about someone writing, hey, I need to send an email to my colleague asking him to summarize something. Or it's not about only, of course, these are valid use cases. But I started to see some applications, and I'm talking to a lot of people. They are telling me where this technology is going. So think about something like Stable Diffusion or Midjourney. So now people are playing with it. You tell him, okay, um, I want a picture of a cat wearing a scarf skiing, right? So it will generate something funny like this. Now, but think about it into a different way. Think about it from a real use case perspective. 3 modeling. Remember, for example, when they design a car, they need to build a 3 model, and this 3 model takes with them a lot of time to have it, and then they need to do simulation. So design simulation is something also that takes a lot of time. Then they need to make sure that this design, after it's simulated, it pass a certain quality assurance, and then they can say yes, it can go to manufacturing. So now think about this. Instead of being done with years within years, now they can do it using AI in a very short time. And of course, relate this to 3D printing. So think about a prototype of a new vehicle that they want to invent, maybe a vehicle that would be used for space discovery. Maybe they want to have a vehicle that can be very useful in like very tough terrains like a mountain or a desert. So AI would be able to generate the model for you, then it can simulate it, and then you can send it to a 3D printer and have it done. Imagine how long this would take if you are doing it in the old tools. It will take years. Now we have shrunk that. Other things we are seeing now is game designs. Now it's still in the early stages, and maybe we are not seeing the full potential of that. But I'm very sure that AI would be able to generate games for us, full movie shooting. And there's a lot of talks now, especially in Hollywood and like these large studios, about what if AI is able and capable of producing a full movie from A to Z. I can see it possible because first you can generate the characters, you can generate the script, and you can generate the effects. So you have everything needed to create a full movie, right? As designs, of course, I've seen some examples, they are epic fail, but remember, we are still in the first stages. So this is something that will become better and better with time. Now, people will tell me, yeah, but AI, it have some hallucinations sometimes. It's not accurate. That's correct. But the more it's fed with data, it will become much, much better. So how this will relate to building the future with AI automation agents? Now, I didn't cover much because everyone knows about these tools nowadays, but something like I reviewed maybe 2, 3 weeks back about what is coming next. Now we have these tools, they are here to stay. As you can see, companies like Microsoft, they're going to embed them everywhere in their products. Google, the others are following. So these tools are now a reality. So we cannot say that they are not useful. But what is next? The next is automation agents. And when I talk about automation agents, these are computer programs that are capable to do tasks by following very simple goal oriented prompts given by a human, but then they go autonomous. Let me explain this more. Think about if today you have your personal assistant or maybe a virtual assistant and you want to plan your trip next month for a business trip to somewhere. So, first thing, you need to brief your PA or VA about the purpose of the trip, which dates you are going, where you prefer to stay, and then who are the clients you would like to meet, and then maybe if you want to do some activities after like the working hours and so on. So think about this plan, you give it to AI, and the AI will generate these tasks and then it will start to do them one by one. So actually, it will tell you, okay, I understand you're going on a business trip, and the first thing I need to do is this, second is that, and so on. And then by itself, it goes book the plane, it will book the hotel, even it can send the email to your clients, set the calendar, and then maybe it will book you, for example, a trip to a park, or I don't know, maybe if you prefer to do, let's say, diving, it will book for you a diving trip. If you prefer to do hiking on a mountain, it will do that. Depends on the country you're going to. But think about, an AI capable of taking decision also as well and giving you feedback. So these are the automation agents. Now, what is the potential here? So, the potential here is, first of all, saving time. Remember, it's a computer program, so it can execute really fast. It can find the best alternatives for you. And of course, now it's still early stages, but it's something which is coming. I can see it. It will become better. So, first of all, it's gonna streamline the processes, transform industries. Because I just gave you an example for a business trip, but think about this scenario. Okay, I want to expand in a new country and I want a plan for this expansion. It's a very complex task. So think about the time that it will allow the executives to save to prepare this, because you have to go do market research, you have to go do some interviews with someone, you need to understand the market, you need to go with some reports and so on. And these autonomous agents are doing this for you. And guess what? Also, now there are talks about multiple agents talking at the same time to each others, because remember, these are programs and they need to be supervised. So instead of the supervision to come from humans, you have a machine supervising a machine to get the things better for you. So what I'm seeing is that businesses will be able to save a lot of time, they will be able to reduce costs and improve productivities. And of course, but here there is a challenge, actually two challenges. The first one is to make sure that these AI bots or agents are well trained on an accurate data, so they are not biased when they are generating text, when they are doing any action. The second thing is that they are not doing like something ethically not right, right? So these are like some challenges, but again, I think we can have a revolution in the way we work for the future. So, which industries I thought that they will benefit from these autonomous agents? I picked up few industries. For example, let's start with healthcare. So, think about a system where the diagnostic treatment plans, the virtual health assistant, they are all AI based, And they even can go and say, okay, this patient has this situation. We need to go find out, based on, for example, the blood test result that we have, which drug fits them. And if this drug doesn't exist, even they can say, hey, like we think maybe this patient have this, I would say, characteristics in their DNA, so this drug will not fit. We need to modify it so it will fit them. And think this is working autonomously. There is no human intervention in this. Another one, finance, fraud detection, and like risk assessment. So usually now, of course, we have this technology is existing today. So we have machine learning and AI powered tools that they can detect the fraud, but it requires usually some human intervention. So now this would be more possible with these tools. And let me explain why. So I'll give you example of two tools which will come later. So AutoGPT and Baby AGI. Go search for them and you'll understand what I mean. See, these two tools, they can do really reasoning. And reasoning, it's not similar, of course, to the human reasoning, but they can follow a goal that you give and then they will perform the task. So here for fraud detection, for example, based on the learning that they have, they can perform autonomously the actions required to verify if this transaction was a fraud or not. Algorithmic trading. And even now, I started to see that they did some tests with ChatGPT and they figured out when it comes to portfolio management, they are seeing quite good results. And think about only you are giving now only the prompt, it's not doing anything autonomous. Personalized financing advice also through robo advisors. We have robo advisors today, but think about like they can be more intelligent in the way they will choose which investments to do, when to buy, when to sell, and so on. In retail, inventory management. So, and here I will touch also on other technologies that maybe I'm not covering today, but remember, all relies on the data, and the more data you have, the better the AI works. So here in retail, think about sensors that they can detect the inventory, right? So these autonomous bot by themselves, they will go to orders, they will manage the purchases. Of course, still we need someone physically to move these um, goods, but everything will be automatic. Like really, no one is intervening here. Marketing and customer recommendations. We have that today, but it will be more smart in the way. So today, remember that when you receive recommendations from Netflix or from Amazon, these exist today, but it will know at what time, for example, to send to you. And with time, because it start to understand the way you react to this, at what time to send it, how many times to send this for you, the recommendations. And of course the chatbots, if they have the ability to do the things today, still chatbots are in the early phases, I would say, even with ChatGPT empowered. Remember that you need to be very clear, you need to know how to write a proper prompt. But in the future, with these autonomous agents, that would be possible to make them more smart. So they would understand and they would react really as if it's a human talking to you. Another one is manufacturing. We are seeing again adoption for AI machine learning over there, but the predictive maintenance, and again here sensors will play a role over here. So think about, for example, a factory, and this autonomous bot by itself, whenever it detects that something is wrong in one component on the factory line, it will go and order it, and then it will go and report for that, and it will report maybe to another AI system who's doing the optimization for product process. So it will say, hey, like based on the analysis that I have today and all the data I'm receiving, I analyzed the last 30 days factory line, and I think we need to enhance, for example, this area, right? Quality control and defect detection. So this will also help in getting this into a better way. In agriculture, of course, again sensors will play a role here, because you need the data to be continuous and fed into the model so it becomes better. Precision farming and crop monitoring, so it will tell us, hey, like based on all the data I'm receiving, I think if in June we plant this, we will have a better result than planting that, right? And you will have autonomous farm equipments, and they can control drones. They will do the farming, and this will lead to higher yield when it comes to this industry, which is agriculture. In the energy, smart grid management and optimization, so it will start to distribute the energy between on the grid in a more autonomous way. It will start to also do predictive maintenance for the power plants and equipments, energy consumption forecasting and load balancing. So all these, remember, autonomous bots. In education, and this is what I think it will be, I'm expecting that to happen sooner maybe than the other ones. Personalized learning paths, so understand really a student need and generate based on some interactions a proper path for the student, and it would be really based on the data that is fed there. Automated grading, so you're not, teachers, don't be angry, but in the future your role, you have teachers there, but your role will not be the same role that you have today. Your role will be more about guiding, about, like, not just transferring the knowledge, it's about teaching the students how to leverage the knowledge that they are getting there. And of course, the virtual tutors and teaching assistants. Because remember, if someone you have today who's just doing grading, you can give it to an AI and they can do that. Human resources, and I covered this in my podcast a couple of days back, talent acquisitions, candidate screening. So AI can do that. Employee performance analysis. So AI would be able to do that. Onboarding, training, support, same thing. In the media, again, content recommendation, we talked about the Netflix example. AI generated music, videos, and images. I saw something the other day where someone gave one of the models the song name and the lyrics, and it went generated a video clip that didn't exist. Because maybe someone, he likes the song or she likes the song, but they don't like the video clip. Maybe they want to see it in another way. So this is where these autonomous agents would be able to help. Sentiment analysis, and this is applies on, again, every industry, but you will have an autonomous agent which is monitoring, for example, the social media, or monitoring the Amazon reviews, monitoring whatever a place where you have reviews, but it takes decision. The idea here, it's not waiting for someone to do this. How this will shape the way we work. So again, I think this will allow us to have accuracy, and we will have reduced costs, and it will free human workers from for these tasks that are repetitive, right? Now the question is, what is the future, Mehmet? Like, what should we expect in the future? So the future of work in augmented agents, I believe, people, they panic sometimes. We see the news here and there, the new styles of work, right? So we will have, I would say, a revolution really in the way we think how we work. The work, the word work, actually, it will not mean the same as it means today. This is what I believe. We will have a new ways of working. Of course, during the pandemic, it started to raise, people start to talk about working from home, remote working, and all this. But now with the AI and automation combined together, really people can focus on more intellectual tasks rather than repetitive tasks. So the focus will be on results oriented rather than time based approach. No one will ask you how many emails you sent today. No one will ask you how many words you wrote today. No one will ask you how many, I don't know, like calls you have or emails you did today. So anything that is repetition, the AI will be able to do it. You have to think about, intellectually, how I can augment the business. Like you would think from a different perspective. It's not a task oriented anymore. Tasks are for the AI. Now, this will also allow for the growing, it's not something new, but the gig economy, it will be boosted because of this. Because now the demand will be for something which has more meaning, and the gig economy and project based work will become more and more acceptable across And it will be enabled by AI, by the way, because you will leverage the AI to finish the job. And for you, you will become like a supervisor for the AI. So basically, the AI is working for you as a freelancer or solopreneur, and then you just need to give the holistic goal that you have, and then the AI will do the rest. Even you don't have to do the subtasks. The subtask, the AI will be able to do this. You need to give the vision. So your role is to give the vision, and that's it. Now, what are the job opportunities and skills that will become in demand? Of course, as I was saying, if you do a today a repetitive task, better I would say try to see how you can actually leverage AI and learn something new. So first of thing, you need to know prompt engineering. Everyone talks about it. How actually to deal with the AI. You need to understand on a very basic level, that's fine, how to write prompts, because this is the number one task for you today. You need to understand how, like there is a machine, um, someone who operate the machine operator. So we have the AI operator. So this is what prompt engineering is about. So you need to understand AI. You need to understand how automation works. You need to understand data analysis. So there will be an increased demand in the skills that fit these three: AI, automation, and data analysis. Also, what we will see is, of course, prompt engineering, because, and maybe you have heard it from different places as well, but I would repeat it. Prompt engineering is the art, I'm calling it an art, to give the right input to the language model so it generates the best results for you. I expect that later in the future, this will become much easier. You don't need to give much details, but as of today, to get the best results, you need to give as much information as possible so the language model can generate the best output. Remember, like as I'm saying usually, AI is not a magic box, right? Actually, it's a black box. And what I mean by a black box, the concept of a black box, you have an input and then you have an output, and there's something in the middle which is a function that just generate the output from the input you give. So basically, we as humans, we are key factors in this, and this is why when someone say, yeah, like jobs will be eliminated, AI will be doing all these things, it's not 100% true, because still we need someone to feed this AI. This AI is not conscious. This AI cannot resonate by itself. It always requires us to give the order for that. And of course, digital literacy would not be only about using the internet, it would be about using the AI. Because back in the days, I remember when they have a job description, you need to know how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or whatever, and you need to know how to use the internet. And then, later on, okay, we need someone who understands digital marketing, who can use Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and so on. So now you will start to see in the job descriptions, we need someone who understands AI, prompt engineering, and these evolving technologies. So this is really something I would say focus on for now. So this is where, from skills perspective, the market is going. Now, also one of the things we will see is digital collaboration. So AI would be able to, facilitating more these virtual meetings, like translation. Think about all these limitations that we used to have. So now I'm talking, for example, in English. Someone sitting, I don't know, maybe in Korea, he will be able to hear me as I'm speaking in his language or her language, right? So these barriers will be removed. So this will allow us to collaborate better. It will enhance decision making as well, because the more data we are generating and the more things that we are feeding with the AI, so this will allow us to go and get better decisions. We will have more accurate results from this AI, and of course, everything will be streamlined. What used to take, as I was giving example previously, years, will now take just maybe couple of hours to be done. And what used to take hours, think about it, it's just like this. Think about, like, today you can go to ChatGPT, you can say, I want to draft an email for a vendor and I have this problem with them. Draft for me the best email that can fit this situation. And here you go. In just 2 seconds, you have the email, you send it, and that's it. Now, think about these use cases. Think about, the tasks that really you can delegate. If you follow some of the famous, I would say, authors that they talked about this, about how you can delegate. Um, all of them, they talk about the art of delegating tasks. It's not about hard working anymore, it's about smart working. This is what I would say. Because if a machine can do for me what I would spend hours on it, of course I will give it to the machine because it will give me the result very fast. Again, I know someone will say, but it's not accurate, but we will reach a place where everything will be accurate for us. So, and here where I would be finishing today, the rise of solopreneurs, digital nomads, and indie hackers with AI. I know maybe not all the terms are familiar for you. So, solopreneurs usually is a term called for entrepreneurs who are one man business. Digital nomads are also the freelancers who keep moving in different locations, and indie hackers are the young people who also create a product and they sell it as well. So what we will see here is that because the way of doing work will be so flexible, the way that we can do a job which fulfill our purpose but at the same time allows us to have a decent life where we can go spend time with family, we can go travel the world, it will become the norm. This is why I'm very optimistic actually about AI. I know some people will not agree with me, I respect this, but for me this is why I'm excited, because instead of having someone, you literally put them into a four wall office or into a cubicle doing tasks that, if you think about it, it's not meaningful. If these guys, you give them a task which have more purpose, which can make them into a higher position, or maybe it's something that they can help humanity with instead of just doing something repetitive, isn't nice. So why I would not agree that AI should be adopted. And this is why I don't agree with people who say AI will eliminate jobs and people will be in very big trouble, and we are worried, and AI will do this, AI will do that. Of course, there are any, and I'm repeating something from a previous episode that I mentioned. Of course, any technology, not the only technology, any new invention has its advantages and disadvantages. And I'm repeating this and I'm quoting myself from another episode from my show. Remember, everything, if it falls in the hands of bad guys, can be dangerous. Fire, invented or discovered how many thousands of years back. It's dangerous if it falls in the wrong hands, but it's useful, right? It converted the way we live. Think about electricity, think about the TV, the radio, printing, you name it, computers, internet. Of course, it can be used, say, in both ways. And AI is not different. But AI actually is taking us to a whole new level of us humans reaching a way that really we can enjoy life, doing something on purpose and something that really can help humanity. This is what makes me really excited. And this is where solopreneurs will rely on these automated bots or autonomous agents to do routine tasks and repetitive tasks, so they can focus on productivity, they can unlock new opportunity, they can invent new things, right? And again, the chatbots, the virtual assistants, all they can help increase productivity, and then you can improve your services. So instead of you focusing, for example, on writing an email, you focus on how I can take my product to the next level, how I can make it 10 times better. So this is what I'm talking about. I hope you find this masterclass helpful and useful. I tried to cover as much as possible in the time that we have. So I was aiming to keep it for 40 minutes, which is I just did it on time. So I hope you like this content. It will be recorded. You can watch it back again. It will be on the CTO Show with Mehmet YouTube channel as well, if you like to watch it back again. Thank you very much. And I hope that we will meet back again in another masterclass. And by the way, I would love to hear your feedback about this masterclass. And if you want me also to, to discuss this live with you, I would be more than happy to do this, whether it's about AI or any other topic of your choice. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much. And until we meet next time in another masterclass.